I've been studying on the best way to fix this frame where this steering box got twisted and it protruded me right here. You know, pushed that whole frame in that box, kind of swelled that out just a little bit. I know the horn's still straight, everything like that. It's just the back of the box is shifted over. And I know the box is junk anyway because the hit it took was so hard. I'm going to leave it all bolted up. And I'm going to move this thing back over with the steering box still on there, because even if I damage the box or whatever, I don't care. This thing's getting thrown away. So I can use it to hold everything in place. That way I make sure that when I move that over, it keeps my alignments of my bolts right and everything. So that's what I'm going to do. So I think that's the best way I can go about doing it. Not only that, I'll have my steering shaft in here, so I'm going to be able to tell right when I get it back to where it was. So, and then I think I'm going to put me a fillet on the inside and beef it up just a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to fix it, just fire up real good. I'm sure I'm going to replace this bolt as well when I get done. I will replace everything I beat on. Get off there, Betsy. That's kind of tight, y'all. It's room, though. I'm trying to keep from pinching my fingers. I need Ryan here where he can hold it up. It's wanting to fall, and that's putting pressure on it, making it hang up. Don't pinch my fingers. That's the key. There it goes. Okay, then. Well, don't smash my toes either, Jay. It's all right. I ain't worried about it. It's junk. Oh, no. Oh, no. I busted my drain pan. Oh, man. That drain pan's been with me for 20 years. All right, I managed to get these walls back into place, twisted back around, and got the box back in place. Went ahead and unbolted the box. I made me a little fillet because this had kind of twisted in on the inside there a little bit. And you know, once you bend something, then it wants to return to where it bent to. So I cut me a little piece of cardboard and figured out how to cut me a fillet, because I'm just going to put a little brace. That's fairly thin down through there, so I'm going to put a little fillet right here. Check, made sure it wasn't going to be in the way of anything. I'd be able to get to all my bolts. And I'm going to drop it right down through there. Kind of beef this up just a little bit. It's a little bit of breeze blowing, but I turned my gas up, and I think I'll be able to do it with a MIG, not have to break out a stick. Be a lot easier to just MIG this in. It's down in here, kind of shielded from the wind, so hopefully I can get it knocked out. Just throw that in there right quick. Put a little spot on it and then bend it in place. We got our sweet box here. I ordered this brand new. Just throw it out of here. Try not to drop it. This is 12-to-1. And I ordered it with a 185 valve. I was reading and they said the 205 valve, if you're like direct, so like if you get the 6-to-1 or the 8-to-1, you get the 205 valve. But if you're going to use a steering quickener, like I've got a steering quickener set up, then get the 185 valve. So I ordered it with a 185 valve. And then you can get the ends two different ways. You can get it with that 30 count thread or the 36. So I think mine was the 36. And then I got it with the right pitman arm threads as well, because this is the 70s Chevelle or Camaro. I think this is bigger than a metric, and so I made sure I got the right one here. I straightened my pitman arm back out because I had put a step in that. This is a 6.5 inch I had ordered, and then it came with like a 3/4 step, but I needed about a 2-inch step to get my bump to work out right. So had all those measurements wrote down, heated it up, straightened it out. It's forged, not a problem. And yep, that fits fine. Of course, we're going to leave it off until we get it on there. And it is good to go. And I have got some new bolts here to go in. And the hard part's holding it up there and bolting this joker back in there. That's going to be a trick. Some kind of way. I don't know how. Let's get her. Let's get her in there. You gonna go. You ain't got no choice. Just don't smash my fingers and don't smash my face, and we'll get along just fine. right in there. Up through the hole you go. Where you stop, nobody knows. Oh, that's not right. You gotta come back just a little bit. Oh, you go right there. That's where you go. Well, why didn't I have that bolt in my hand? Go. Hey, baby, get one down here. And up there. That's a heavy dude. You better keep your hand on it, that's for sure. Don't let it fall in your face. Woo. Where you at, Ryan? I need your hands right now. Oh, I think I got one started. I got one started. Just put some anti-seize on these dudes, because that is a cast piece and they will flat out seize up in your steering box. So anti-seize is required. And these bolts are easy to do a check on, make sure they stay tight, so they're easy to get to. No big deal. Okay. We got, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad right there. Uh-oh. Probably should have put, yeah, probably should have put that steering rod on. I can probably get that steering rod on there. Let's see. Steering rod. Pull that off. Slide you together. Get no dirt in there. Nope. That'll work. Okay. That's better. Now, see if I can slide you up through here and get you on like you're supposed to be. I had to put a new tie rod in. Buddy, that old one, whoo, she's done. That took a lot of it right there. That and the pitman arm took most of the hit. But anyway, new tie rod in. Of course, you know, because we've got all of this worked out on the steering geometry using different parts. You see where I've cut that off. I've cut about 2 inches of that tie rod end off right there, y'all. So it all worked. But the center link is fine. I put a straight edge on the center link, check to make sure it hadn't bowed or anything. It's fine. It's not hurt at all. Oh, that's gonna hurt. I better put a jack under that. That's still got tension on it. I better put a jack under that. There we go. Yeah. Now. Okay. Well, it looks like it's not bent, but I need to clean it up anyway and lubricate it. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. It wouldn't do that if I bent either one of those times or anything. It wouldn't do that. Kind of clean my joints up while I'm in here. Pretty clean, but they're not greasable. They ought to be greasable, but anyway, main thing, just keep it all working good. Make sure them bolts is tight. Soak it all down. Okay, that looks good. plate's not bent. Looks good to me, y'all. I'm gonna put a little bit of grease on top of that plate there. Oh, don't lose your nut, Jay. That worked. A little something for you. We're gonna slip. Alright. Okay, where's my turn? There. Get you up in there. You go right there. Come around here. Get right there. Oh. Put my. This whole thing right here works good. I like that design, y'all. I think that's a permanent design from now on. This thing is easy to adjust, works good. I like this. You know, I like this. I had a washer on there. I lost my washer. Dadgummit, where'd my washer go? I'm getting where oh, there it is. I go get a washer and then I find the washer. It's okay. Put some anti-seize on there. Now that I've been working with it, I can see with my eye and tell how many threads is above and below, and I know exactly where I'm at. So this is working pretty dadgum good. Sure my jack is sitting right. Go. All right. A little more. Yeah, like I said, I can see my number of threads and I know about exactly where I was. That's working pretty good. All right. Check these ball joints right quick, throw them in. These Howe ball joints have got set screws in them. So I have to back these set screws out before I can take this ball joint out. I don't have to back them all the way out. Just have to back them a little bit of the way out before I start turning on it. And when you put these together, you have to pay attention to those set screws. You can't just crank down on one. You'll push it to one side and it won't be right. Get this thing apart. I've got some replacements if I need them, but honestly, they don't look bent. Looks like that tie rod and pitman arm and stuff took the brunt of it, and the spindle itself took the hit instead of the ball joints. All the force went into the twist. It didn't hit the top or the bottom. You know, where the wreck hits the wheel really affects what it damages. Because if you hit the front of your wheel or the back of your wheel, you're going to wreck steering system. And if you hit on the bottom of the wheel or the top of the wheel, you wreck control arms and ball joints. And like, it's always seemed like it ends up like that. And then, you know, if you just plow off into the wall with the right front, you just destroy everything in that case. But anyway, this all looks good. That looks good. No weird feelings or dents or dings or anything in there. Let's see what it does here. Oh yeah, we're gonna run that, y'all. That is fine, fine, fine. I made a change on the grease. I'm still gonna run the Lucas Red and Tacky on. I'm still gonna run the Lucas Red and Tacky on my wheel bearings, but I went to a marine grease on these ball joints because they don't have dust seals, and I'm pressure washing the car every week, and I got to kind of reading into it and people's opinions on it and stuff. And anyway, the marine grease, of course, a little heavier grease is not going to hurt me at all on these ball joints, and it's going to help me to keep the water pushed out or push the water out if it gets in, stay in place a little better. So I was like, you know what? Let's make a little change right there. So a little bit there. Just kind of putting a little bit on it, pre-lube it. These probably need to be taken apart and cleaned anyway, just from a maintenance standpoint. I've got like, let's see, about, if I counted every night at Why Not as a race, I would have 11 races. And so that's probably, you'd say like times, say for example, times 3. If you included hot laps, so that's 11 times 3 is what, 33? We could just safely say 30, probably 30 runs. Yeah, it's probably time to take these apart and do maintenance on them, y'all. So, I'm just sitting here wiggling this thing and turning it, and you don't want it tight. I'm gonna say right there. That wiggles. And I can take my fingers and spin the ball. That's what I'm doing right there. Now, when you tighten these Allen bolts down, if y'all ever, Allen screws, excuse me, just till it touches, so I can actually push that over a little bit. Just till it touches. Otherwise, it jams the ball up. And then this one, the same thing. A little more. A little more. A little more there. And just progressively tighten these down where I don't push it to one side. There it goes. Alright, that's ready to go. Now, one other thing, reason I was showing y'all this, I'm going to make a change. So, I was running the Joe's 11-inch 20 degree. And of course, that 20 degree is because that left front gives it that clearance there where the ball doesn't hang on angle. But anyway, we got a little more camber to the left front of this car. So I went to the 11¼ inch. Went to the 11¼ inch 20 degrees. We're going to add should be almost 2 degrees of camber. Of course, I'm going to check it and everything, but yeah, a little more camber. I think it needs it. We're running around 4 degrees. We're going to bring that on up closer to 6 degrees on the left front. We keep the left front planted on the ground. We don't jerk the left front tire off the ground because 4 wheels are faster than 3. And the car, I think the car is getting quite a bit of roll in it now, and I've got a lot more room in that left front or left rear for that left rear to hike up. And the car is getting quite a bit of hike in it when we're looking at the videos, getting quite a bit of angle, and I think I probably would get a little bit better traction out of the front of the car if I put a little more camber in that left front. So that one's ready to go. I'm going to do the same thing. Check this bottom one, which I am very sure that this one is straight. Oh, I was going to show you one other thing. So, this is the QA1 bottom one that I used. And see how it's got the 2 holes that takes the tool? And I didn't buy the tool. I didn't think about that until I was getting ready to take it apart. Yeah, I just made a tool. So this is just an old wrench for a 4.5 inch angle grinder. Look, I just cut a slot, took a screwdriver and widened it out until it fit. Hey man, whatever works, right? Worked fine, so yeah. So I'm just gonna go through the same process on this bottom one. Clean it up. Oh, come on, there you go. Make sure it's good to go as well. No biggie. plenty. It'll take a lot. All right, let's get that up. Let's see here. At this point, I feel like that I've become comfortable with the car, and I kind of know what the car is going to do. So we're fixing to crank some caster up. So, I add about 2 more degrees of caster to it on both sides. I like a 2-degree split, but I think I was down fairly low on caster. I think 3 and 5. I'm adding 1/4. I was at 0. I'm adding 1/4, so that should get me more towards like 5 and 7. We're gonna crank a little more caster in it. I think at this point I understand what the car is doing, and the car feels predictable to me. It always stays under me, and I'm real comfortable in it. Now I'm just trying to make it do what I want it to do. And you know, like when I crank on the wheel, I want to get a little bit more dynamic load change in the car, which would allow me to have to crank less on the wheel and get a little bit more response out of the car a little bit quicker. Especially like if I'm right in the middle of the turn, and say if I kick that rear end out, I want to be able, when I crank back, maybe put a little bit more load instantly in that left rear, and more caster will do that. So anyway, but you know, you got to kind of learn a car. You can't just come out the gate all crazy with your settings. That's a recipe for disaster, so we're not going to do that. Now we are going to leave the Pro Dive. We're going to leave a little bit of Pro Dive in this left front, and that is going, when I'm on a slick track and the brakes are all the way up on the nose, if I've got Pro Dive in this left front, then when I get on the brake, it is going to suck this left front down, which unloads the right rear when I'm on the brake, which means that I've got more bite on my left rear instantly on the brake, even when I've got all the brakes run all the way to the front, which is going to help the car turn a lot. So I can have a fairly tight car on entry, but if I do need to like run the brakes to the front and breathe on the brakes, it's going to free the car up and be able to turn the car in, hopefully without breaking all my traction at once. It's a little bit more subtle. All right. So I want to, let's see, let me remember which slugs go in here. Let's see, we're going to Pro Dive. This will be lean forward. We're going to put a 0 in the front, and we are going to put a 1/2 in the back. Well, it's not 1/2, it's 3/8, because I re-drilled it. So these things are expensive, so I just make them 2 different settings. Drill another hole in it. Do what you gotta do, right? All right. Well, I've already got this all hung up. Oh, it's a lot going on with all these slugs and everything, trying to get all this together, I'm telling y'all. But it's a pretty neat system. I'm liking it. I'm liking how all this works. These ain't gotta be horribly tight, y'all, because the bolt itself acts like a pin through it. This ain't doing much, so that's all it needs. Alright, what's next? Where did I put, oh, there it is. Let me see if I can get this thing in here now. Come on. There we go. Okay. How tight? Oh, about. That's plenty. That is plenty. All right. So I like to put a little bit of grease on my studs, because that way if I'm at the track and I gotta snatch one off and put a stud in, whatever, I can just take a hammer and hit it and it'll knock loose. If you don't have any anti-seize or grease or nothing on these things, you're gonna have to have a pickle fork sometimes to get them off. Okay, let's put this spindle on here. All right, there's that. A little more. A little more. Right there. For those of y'all who haven't seen the video I made on this, or others have, the only grease a bearing needs is the grease actually in contact with it. All you need to do is put the grease on the rollers themselves. Down in the cage, that's it. Not full up in the hub. All that does is create friction and drag and heat in the hub that is unnecessary. Because if you use good grease, it will not come off the bearings. And all that other grease in there, all it's doing is just binding between the shaft and the hub itself to just create friction and heat and slow the hub down. And that's it. This is all you need. I packed this bearing whenever I started this season and cleaned it and packed it. And when I took it out, it had the same grease sitting in the exact same spot and looked exactly the same. It was just as red and everything. I should show that on camera. So like, yeah, literally that's all I put. That's it. That's all it needs, y'all. Just like it right there. I just pack it in there. Down in the cage, I'm gonna put a little thin coat right there. And then I'm just gonna drop it in. And this is all completely clean and dry, and that's all it needs. A little bit on the seal. Put the seal back in, do the other side. Same way. And that's it. Don't go crazy with your grease. I'll tell you, half the secret to all of this low friction stuff, they're just not loaded up with grease. That's half of it right there. The other half is the polishing of the bearings. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna turn forever. But in a street stock, I'm sorry, y'all, it ain't worth it. So, that's that. Tie the other one together. Yeah, there you go. Looking good, looking good. I'm liking it. I'm like, ooh, I can tell it's got some more camber in it. That's for sure. Get that grip going in that left front. Well, woo! Well, that's all for this one, folks. I'm going to have to wait until tomorrow and work on the front end stuff. I'll try to video all that as well, and we'll head to the racetrack with it, but I got a trip to make, and I want y'all to check this out right here. Can you see it way out there? Check this out. Y'all, look, look. Dump it out in the car. Leave later. I thought we could. Man, yeah. So this is a 2004 Honda Civic 5-speed. Runs. Already been stripped of all the interior, all the glass knocked out of it and stuff, and it's ready to be turned into something. My buddy Nico Wright and his dad Nick, they race dirt tracks with me. We race at the same tracks and stuff. They sponsored me on some things, helped me out. They've got American Recycling. It's a huge recycle center just right up the street from us in Gates, Tennessee. And we were talking about like putting Rachel in something because I can't get my machine work done and get an engine into the factory stock fast enough to get her back on the track. And Nico had this. And so we got a joint venture going on here between Dirt Race Life and American Recycling. we're gonna just go ahead and put a cage in this car and put this car on the track. I have no idea how to build a Hummer, front wheel drive car. Like we call them Hummers around here. Some people just call them front wheel drive. Some people call them buzz cars. I ain't got a clue what I'm doing, y'all. But there should be a certain amount of logic involved in this, and I'm pretty confident that I can figure out how to do it safely. So yeah, I think this right here, this could be a lot of fun. Shouldn't be all that much work. Just roll cage itself and safety equipment, because the car itself's already running, so there's not a lot to do there. So this is kind of going to be like the fun project to do that we can just knock out right quick. So you definitely want to stick around, see how this turns out. We'll put Rachel right back on the track, see how she does in a front wheel drive.